Hello and welcome to Tuesday's vlog. Apologies about not having the Friday vlog. I was having to do my MOT course, my yearly exam. We'll get to that at the end of the video. So first of all, I'm going to swing round and show you what's in today. I'm just getting in slightly late this morning, so this has already been checked over. Little Hyundai Getz. It's actually got one of the better engines in this, the 1400. It flies along this, the double overhead cam 1400, compared to the usual 1 litres and 1.1s and 1.2s they're doing these. They're getting a bit hard up now, these. I mean, obviously this is in for MOT the day. It's actually pretty much okay. No major problems with it. Just a once over, top up the levels, check the lights, wipers. Obviously all the underneath's been checked. I think it's getting a bit hard up on one of these arches, as you can see. I'm going to just scrape these down a little bit and just put some tape over for any sharp edges. That's unfortunately as best as you can do with these as they get on a bit. But yeah, quite a good little car on that day, these, to be quite honest. It is 1.4 not 1.5, yeah. GSI, which means top spec kind of thing, electric windows, air conditioning, which is about as high spec as you get with one of these things. But yeah, I'm feeling my age now, because I remember when these were what I would class as a new car, like a new little car. The Kia Picanto and the Hyundai Getz are the same car. And you know, 08, I was just saying to somebody the other day, I was looking at a number plate, and I was kind of thinking, like, you know, in sort of like, you know, 4 or 5 years' time, these are going to be 20 years old. It's worrying. Where on earth is the time gone to? We've got in a... I'll go outside and show you. Got my usual Toyota parts in for this. We've got a Honda CHR in for service. And as you can see, the genuine Toyota stuff. It's a hybrid one as well. I'll show you what we're doing on this. I've actually got it partially stripped down. This is it here. Bit of a lowly spec one though. It's the hybrid, but like my mum and dad have got one of these, and it's the XL. And it really does, to me, if you're going to spend a bit extra on it, on the hybrids, it's nice to go a bit up on the spec to make them feel that bit special, you know. Because there are quite a lot more money to a standard one. So in my opinion, if you're going to spend that bit more money getting the hybrid, it's nice to have, when you get in them, you feel, you know, that you've spent the money, you know, like with the heated seats and the leather seats and stuff. But anyways, on to this one. This is another one. This is in for service and MOT today. Obviously, as you've just seen. No, sorry, it's not MOT. It was in for MOT on the other video a couple of weeks ago. This was already featured in it. It's just service today. And I just want to, we'll have a quick walk around, but I just want to show you when you go to places and buy these cars, and they say they've had a full service. When you're buying them, you know, from sales places, don't always believe that, because I can guarantee it will be an oil and filter change at best. So we'll have a look under here. There's your hybrid unit kind of thing, your inverter, which is water cooled, which there should be 2 tanks usually. There's one here for the radiator. The Yaris's use a different tank. I don't know if these do. I can't see. I don't know. These might have a slight... Oh, there we go. Can't see for looking. So there's your cooler for your engine as standard. 1.8 petrol in these. These are different to the Yaris's, which use a 1500 petrol. These in the Corolla / Aris size hybrids use a 1.8 petrol, and the RAV4s use a 2.5 petrol. So there's your engine coolant, and there's your inverter, and maybe the battery pack cooler system as well. So while we're under here, I've already unclipped these two. We'll just have a look, because these were supposed to have been changed last year. I think the car's only done about 1,500, 2,000 mile, if that. And you know, that definitely hasn't been changed. So I tell you now, I service these regularly with these kits, and a lot of the customers to us just say, look, if you can get the Toyota kits cheap, just change it every year, even though these aren't probably due every like 4 year or something. But I'll just go and get the new one. So there we go, there's the new one. As you can see, there's a big difference, obviously out the sun. And like I've mentioned, these aren't like some diesels that you get where they can look like that after sort of a couple of 1,000 miles. Like this, I tell you now, hasn't been changed probably since the car was still going to Toyota. So there we go, there's a new air filter to go in. Genuine Toyota unit. Obviously we get an oil and filter change when it's on the lift, and the brakes checked and all the rest of it, but it was in for MOT just a couple of weeks ago. And your pollen filter, as you can see, I've got it here. Genuine Toyota one, and these are just in here. And I've already pulled the little door off, and you just slide the unit out, and there you go. Again, that most certainly wasn't changed 2,000 miles ago. I don't even think it's done 2,000 mile actually. And again, we shall open it up. But I would just like to state with these main dealerships and everybody, if everybody takes your car to main dealerships, if these filters are stated every 4 years or something, they will leave it in your car every year when you take it in and not change it. So there's your difference there between, and I do change these regularly 12 months, I'm telling you, unless somebody's done 20 or 30,000 mile in that year, they don't look like that. So there you go. But yeah, like I was mentioning, I'll just switch this back to me. Just be careful, because if you look in your car book, they'll say like on some of the new Transits, it's 20,000 mile for an oil change. If you look for the fuel filter, it'll be 30 or 40,000 miles. Same with the air filter. That's all great and well to make you look at a car and go, ooh, it brings the price of the servicing down, because when most people only keep a car through a year, so they look for the first 3 years. If they can make the service as cheap as possible, it appeals to people. But in realistic terms, if it's your own car with your own money, if it's a rental car, company car, who gives a stuff, who's bothered? But if it's your own car with your own money, you want it to be right. And for me, if you can get service kits cheap from dealerships, or just generally what we can get a hold of, I would never in a million years, even on a £500 banger, leave an air filter for 30, 40,000 mile, or a pollen filter, or spark plugs, or whatever, you know. You get on about these platinum spark plugs, leaving them for 60,000 mile. Yeah, technically you could. But what happens is the weld herself into the head, and the snap when you come to change them, and you're in a whole world of pain. So you are actually worthwhile regularly taking them out and checking them, which they say you should do on a 12 to 24 month basis. But the dealers never will, and they never do. So just a little bit of advice there: if you're taking your car to the dealer, please remember they do the bare minimum, and they'll still charge you. And most of the time you'll have a service plan, so you'll be paying £200, £300, £400 a year on these stupid service plans. But what you'll tend to find is yeah, unless you're doing the big miles, they're not worth having. If you do the big miles and you're doing 20, 30,000 mile in a year, you will get everything changed for the same price as somebody who's done 2,000 mile and nothing needs changed. And I would even go as far, half the time, unless it's written in the book, which they're getting wise now, is they're not even doing oil change sometimes for you if you haven't done the miles. I always say 12 monthly regardless, but like I've said, Ford have done it with these new Transits. I'm sure even them terrible EcoBoost engines, the 1 litres, they are the same as well, because I've got that service kit in the back of the car for a Fiesta this week, and they said, I think it was its second service and I hadn't done the miles, and they said it didn't even require an oil change, which is disgusting, you know. And you're going in paying your money, your monthly plan every month, for your service plan, you're going in, you're paying it, and you're taking your car in thinking they've done something, but they actually have done nothing. Like I've said, in some cases with Fords and probably a lot of other companies as well, you're not even getting an oil and filter change. Never mind air filter, fuel filter, spark plugs, pollen filter, check over. And like you've seen me doing all the brake pipes underneath the cars, I brush them with a big grease, I go the extra mile. They don't. In fact, I just had a Hyundai in, which I wish I could have gotten on film. Had been taken into the Hyundai garage local to here. In fact, I am going to name them and shame them actually. Bristol Street Motors. An old lady took in, I've got photographs on my phone of it, took her Hyundai in, and they ticked the box in red, as in dangerous, you know, they take the traffic light system, in red, saying that her rear brake pads are low. I mean, red means an MOT fail for brake pads, 1.5 mil. And she brought it in, I had a look, and the pads were basically brand new. They must have had at least 4 to 5 mil on them. I couldn't believe it. And I was scratching my head thinking, am I missing something here? So I checked the front brakes, checked the whole car over, checked the discs, the pads, the handbrake levers, the calipers for being tight. Perfect. So just be careful when they do give you that little free check over and give you the box with the ticks. If they tick something and say it's dangerous, I don't know what's happened there. There were new customers, I didn't get too involved, but if it was somebody I knew a bit better, I would have loved to have took the car in myself, just posing as that being their son or something like that, and just said, right, can you show me this dangerous brakes on it? And you know, you'll get the receptionist sitting there saying, sit down sir, have a cup of coffee. I'll be like, no, get that car on the lift and invite me round and show me with one of your technicians where this red dangerous brake pad system is on it, and watch their faces just suddenly go red and realise they've been 100% caught out trying to con and rip off an old lady. Which is disgusting. So she's going to take it back to them and have words with them this week, and I really hope she calls in and updates us on matters. But you know what it is, I wouldn't be surprised if they went, okay, Mrs. Such and Such, go and take a seat, have a cup of tea, our technicians will have a look, and I'll bet you anything you like, without even realising it, that they'll either fit a brand new set of flipping brake pads to it and pretend nothing's happened and say, oh, it's okay, it's just been a problem, even though there's nothing wrong with them, or stick a flipping worn out set of pads in and then invite around and say, yes, have a look here, the pads are damaged, hence why I've said we'll get photographs and we'll see. So anyways, on to the third car is this Golf in for MOT. Again, another car, Mark V Golf, I used to think was a new modern car, but they're not anymore now. Like I say, 07, couple of years time, we're getting into nearly 20 years old. This one's actually got really low miles on as well. Probably a one that I would consider buying, maybe, if and when the opportunity arises, if they decide to sell it. But these people don't tend to sell their cars very often. I think they've had it from brand spanking new, just about. Same place my Mercedes was bought from, Clifton Car Sales, which, funny enough, that's the lady who I bought my Mercedes ML off, who's got that. You always remember this thing's got these weird purple tinted windows. I don't know if I'm over keen to them, but I think this has got really silly low miles for one of these. Yeah, it has 77,000 for a diesel GT TDI. That is really low miles. But again, what I'm not keen on with this VAG stuff is the basic level stuff. This is the, on the steering wheel there, GT, all the good stuff. Haven't even got cruise control, man. You get cruise control on a flipping bottom of the range Vectra, or I just can't understand it. Like why they bring them out so lowly spec'd. So yeah, but this is the GT TDI. It'll be the nice PD engine at the 2 litre. Unfortunately, not as good as the 1.9. But again, being an 07, it beats all the cats. So it's just got a nice the DPF. So it's just got a nice straightforward cat on it. So no complications there. But this one is in for MOT, I believe. So I'm going to give these headlights a little bit of a clean up. A lot of that on there is just dirt, actually. I'm going to give them a big clean up. Then it needs to go on the lift to be checked over. I don't know if there's anything else to note on that. It hasn't been looked at over and checked, and it probably won't be going on the lift for a little while because I need to get on and do that. So I'll swing this round. So I hope everybody's had a good weekend. I just want to say, I'm absolutely disgraced at what's going on in Ukraine. I'm not going to get too much into politics on this video. I'm going to mainly keep it about cars. But if you do want to give your opinions, but keep the language sensible on the views, because I don't know, but I think that's the odd time I get a comment off somebody, sometimes my regular viewers, and it says I've got the message, and I go to click it, and then it says no comment found. So just be careful how you word things. I'll agree with it. But I don't know. I think YouTube are a bit funny about using language, so to speak, on the comments. I don't know why, because I click on every time, is this suitable for kids? Every one of them's down as no. So effectively, if it's not suitable for kids, you should be able to F and blind and say whatever you want. But I don't know. But anyways, I think it's absolutely appalling. I never really believe the media, never have done, and I think they've really pushed their luck with me through the whole COVID amount of lies and misleading information they were telling. I've lost a bit of trust in them to be watching this in Ukraine, but I have been watching stuff on other networks and providers other than the national news, and it's horrendous. Bloody kids getting killed. Some of the stories are just horrendous. It's actually really bugged me watching this. It's to think in modern day society in 2022 that some absolute idiot out there can actually declare war, more or less, just at a click of a finger like that. Over what? It's so trivial. I can't even put it into words. There's a lot to it, of course, but I just hope and wish if any of you guys, I've got people all around the world on this channel commenting on stuff. There's people from everywhere, places I would have never thought. So if there is anybody on here from Ukraine, and the only thing I'm a bit upset about in a way is the Russian, that I notice what Britain's doing and everything, that are kind of pulling Russia out of everything, like football, sport, big events and stuff like that. The only downside to that, you see, is Putin is the main idiot, basically, causing this. But the general Russian population are just normal, they're very different way they are kind of live their lives to us, but they're just normal everyday people like us, you know, like there is people obviously in the Russian forces, the army, out there fighting, but let's face it, they'll not have a choice, will they? It'll either be do it or that's it. But you know, to keep pulling everything off Russia, it has to be done, unfortunately. But at the same time, as well as the people in Ukraine, which is horrendous, is you've got to give a little thought to the regular day-to-day people like you and me in Russia, you know, because I've seen there's been lots of not like riots, but like protests and everything about it, because the majority of the Russian population don't agree with this whatsoever, do they? So we'll leave it at that, but I just do send my wishes if there is anybody out there from Russia or Ukraine. I honestly feel for you guys. It mustn't be very very nice experience whatsoever. Horrendous. But yes, Friday, I'll quickly go run through that. The MOT did what exams? Take a yearly exam you've got to do every year to keep your licence, your MOT licence, otherwise you lose it. You've got to do an introductory and be inspected by an inspector, which you don't want to do. And every year it's like basically, how many is it? 30 question exam. And it's an 80% pass rate. And last year the questions were horrendously hard. I mean, I suffer from dyslexia, and my dad has as well. But the thing is, my dad is absolutely horrendous with computers as well, so he finds it like double difficult. So I mean, the questions on the exams are just like they're made to trick you out. I find it really poor that they have to, instead of just I knew. I mean, I passed mine with 98%. I only got one question wrong, and believe it or not, it was purely through me not reading the question properly. With my dyslexia, I've sometimes got to read something 2 and 3 times or 4 times over to fully match the words up with the answer. Unless you've got dyslexia, you might not understand that. It is quite difficult. And I stupidly did that, and I actually would have gotten 100% if I didn't. But hey-ho, we're past. I think my dad got it 90%. I think he only got 2 questions wrong. Excuse me. Sorry about that there. Yeah, so we did that. I was going to film doing some of it, but by the time we had finished doing the exams, before you do the exams, you've got to do enough time of revision as well, which the computer records. And if you haven't done the right amount of time on your revision, it won't let you do the exam. So I had to do a morning of revision and then sit and do the 2 exams. And to be quite honest, by the time I did that, we missed it by a couple of minutes to get to the cafe for the dinner, so I'm rushing about, and then I had to MOT my project car. So I'll be bringing that up maybe later this week on some videos. I hope you enjoyed the RAV4 one. I had that just sitting there. As you've seen, it was the middle of summer when I did that. So yeah, I was going to record a few questions, but I tried putting the phone up against the computer and I just did all that like flickery stuff and you wouldn't have understood. But if you want, please let us know. If you want to know a little bit of information about the MOT exam, I'll do a separate video on it. I'll record it. I'll try and record it as best as I can on the computer and let you guys know, just in case you're wondering what it is. But all it is basically is just testing your knowledge on testing vehicles, so that you don't become stuck, you know, so that you know what your percentages are for brakes and emissions and doing calculations and what you should fail on and shouldn't, you know, what you should pass and shouldn't pass and etc. and repairs work and corrosion, what's acceptable and what's not, because they change the rules all the time. So you've got to be kind of, the manual changes like nearly every day, so you've got to refresh yourself so that you're not passing a vehicle for something that should actually fail on, or the other way around, because it does literally change that often. So yeah, we'll leave that one here. It's gone on to 20 minutes, but like I said, I apologise for missing Friday, so I thought I'd make today's a bit longer. But tomorrow we'll just be back to standard service. I'll kind of keep them to about 10 minutes to 12 minutes long. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys had a good weekend, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.